Yo, 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 this is Mr. O. What's up, what's up? Mr. Oliveros here, Mr. O, and today we're going to learn about parallel and perpendicular. So this lesson will teach us on how to use slope to identify if a given equation is parallel or perpendicular, or sometimes it could be neither, none of those two. Okay? So we know in geometry that parallel lines they do not intersect. They have the same behavior. Okay. Well, perpendicular is that from geometry we learned that they intersect and they make 90 degrees here. Okay, and that's still true for us right now. Okay, but let's learn more about the idea of parallel lines and perpendicular lines from an equation perspective. Okay, we know that when we have an equation, we can set it in a slope intercept form of y equals mx plus b, wherein your m stands for your slope. So if you have two equations, for you to determine if they are parallel, their slopes must be equal. So if line one, which is represent a slope one, has 1/3, the slope of line two must have also 1/3. For instance, if the equation for line 1 here is y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2, the other line must have y equals 1/3 x minus 3. This could be any number, the y-intercept, as long as the y-intercept here is 1/3 and likewise over here. So I can say that the two lines are going to be parallel. So it's really a good idea to identify their slope. So for line 1, if it's 5, this has to be also equal to 5. If this is negative 2 over 7, this has to be also equal to negative 2 over 7. That's very simple, right? So again, parallel lines have to have equal slope. So with perpendicular lines, we use the opposite reciprocal slope, or sometimes we call it negative reciprocal. The formula is m1 is equal to negative of 1 over m2 of the second slope. It's a negative reciprocal. From the word negative, you have to flip its sign. For example, look at this one here. It's 1/3. So if this is positive or negative, this is positive, right? So this has to be negative. Let me show. There you go. It has to be negative. Now, the idea here, to make it simple, the denominator will go up and the numerator will go down. That's the idea of the reciprocal. Reciprocate. You flip their space, your places, or their position. So the 3 will go up, the 1 will go down. That becomes negative 3 over 1. Or sometimes we can say it's just going to be negative 3 because the 1 is invisible. For 5, we know that there's an invisible 1 right here. Okay. So with that being said, 5 there is a positive number. So we expect to have a negative right here. And the 1 will go up and the 5 will go down. So the answer is negative 1 over 5. And the next one there is negative 2 over 7. The 7 will go up, the 2 will go down. Right now, this is negative, so therefore the line 2 must have a slope of positive, and this will be 7 over 2. Okay, that's how the opposite reciprocal slope works. Let's have more practice on that one to make sure that we're all understanding how to find the negative reciprocal. At this point, I would like you to pause, copy it, and try to answer it. And then I'll give you the answer afterwards, okay? Now, so there you go. So you have tried to find the negative reciprocal of the slope here. So the negative reciprocal of 3/4 is, that's positive, so this will be negative. Oops. This will be negative now. So 3/4 will be, what's happening? Okay, so I have given you time to find the negative reciprocal. Now it's time for us to check if our answer is right. So that's 3/4. So this will be negative now, 4/3. That's negative, so this will be a positive here. The 6 will go up and the 5 will go down. 2 is a positive, so I know this is negative now. And remember, there's a invisible 1 here, so that one will go up, the 2 will go down. And likewise here, there's an invisible 1 here, so this will be 1, third. Okay. This is negative, so this will be positive. The 6 will go up, the 1 will go down. So 6 over 1, or right, you can write just 6 there. There's an invisible 1 here, and this positive, so I expect a negative answer. This 1 here will go up, this 1 here will go down. So it's still going to be 1 over 1, or better to say negative 1. 0 has a 1 here. 0 is not a positive or negative. And also 1 can go up, the 0 goes down. So that becomes 1 over 0. And every time we have a 0 in our denominator, that's going to be undefined. And this one here is, what is this, 9. So if that's 9 there, there's an invisible 1 there, that's going to be negative 1 over 9. And that's how you do, find the negative reciprocal. And that's the best way to practice ourselves to identifying the negative reciprocal, because it will be important later on when we do it, finding the perpendicular equation. Okay, so here we're given an equation y equals 3x minus 2. This is in a slope intercept form, wherein the slope here is 3. Very good. If the slope there is 3, we know in this m equals 3. In a parallel line, slope must be equal. It has to be equal. So the equation that I'm going to write here must have a 3 as its slope. So I'm going to write y equals 3x plus 4. I can put here 5. I can put here 6, 7, or negative 1, negative 3. Okay, and that is going to be parallel here because they have the same slope. If I find the negative reciprocal, what's the negative reciprocal of 3? The negative reciprocal of 3 is negative 1/3. So I need to use negative 1/3. So y equals negative 1/3 x, let's say, plus 100. Okay, the slope there is negative 1/3, which is negative reciprocal of 3. So therefore, this given equation and this equation that I have here are perpendicular. One more. Okay, so here we're given an equation. It's not in a slope intercept form, so we have to solve for the slope by converting this form into a standard form by moving this negative 3x to the right side. So that will give us 4y is equal to 3x plus 12. I divide everything by 4, by 4, by 4. The equation here now will be y is equal to 3/4 x plus 3. So in this case, the slope here is 3/4. So if the slope here is 3/4, my parallel line must have equal slope. So therefore, my equation is y is equal to 3/4 x plus any number there. Or I can leave it blank because that will be 0. So for the negative reciprocal of 3/4, I need to use negative 4/3. So I'm going to use y is equal to negative 4/3 x plus 1. Okay. One more. So if we have y plus 4, we have to isolate the y again to make it a slope intercept form. Minus 4 here, minus 4 here. That will give us y is equal to negative 4. If you notice, there's no x here. Remember, in the slope intercept form, the hint is that the number beside the x is your slope. There's no x here, so this can be written as y is equal to 0x minus 4. So therefore, the slope here is really 0. Slope here is 0. And so a good problem there would be y is equal to, say, 0x plus 7, or better read it as y is equal to just 7. The negative reciprocal of 0 is going to be undefined. And the only way we can get an undefined there is that if it's going to be x is equal to 7. If you notice, this is y is equal to 7 for the same slope, but for the negative reciprocal, opposite reciprocal, is going to be x equals 7. Okay. All right. Now, so determine if the equation are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay. So let's identify the slope of the first equation here. So I'm going to solve for the y here, move this one to the right. So this will become negative y equals negative x plus 3. Flip all their signs, y is equal to x minus 3. So the slope here is positive 1 because of the invisible 1 here. Here, the slope here, the y is already by itself, so the slope here is 1, m equals 1. So therefore, they're equal. So I know that these two equations are parallel. Kaboom. Y equals 2, y equals negative 2. So y equals here is 0x plus 2. Y is equal to 0x minus 2. The slope here is 0. The slope here is 0. They're parallel again because they have equal slope parallel. Kaboom. And 8x minus 4y minus 10 equals 10. So here you're going to solve for the y, convert it to slope intercept form, move this to the other side, will give you negative 4y is equal to negative 8x plus 10. Divide everything there by negative 4, negative 4, negative 4. Cross it out. Y is equal to 2x plus this at plus is going to be negative because 10 divided by negative 4 is negative 5 halves. The slope here is 2. We only care about the slope on this problem. And then on the other end, you're going to move this 3x to the other side. 6y is equal to negative 3x plus 5 divided by 6, divided by 6, divided by 6. Cancel, cancel. Y is equal to, what's negative 3 over 6? That's going to be negative 1 half x plus 5 over 6. And we know the slope here is negative 1 half. So what do we know about negative 1 half and 2? They're negative reciprocal. So this one is perpendicular line. The two equations are perpendicular. Such in cases the slopes are not the same and they're not negative reciprocal, they are considered neither. Okay? There you have it, guys. I hope you learn how to determine if the equation are parallel or perpendicular and knowing how to find the negative reciprocal of a given number or slope. And as always, kaboom!